Hello, Justice Warriors. Welcome. We are going to cover just a heartbreaking case today. And I want to really share it because this case needs help from the community and information to be shared out about it. So there we go. That's better. So I want to share information about this little boy. And I had learned about Hayden missing from locally some information that was being shared out at the end of last year. And I had shared it on the channel in the community post as well. And I know that I had some of you that were from Muncie who were like, why have I never heard of this case? What's going on? And then finally the news caught up with it eventually once the police released some information. So Hayden Manis was born on May 19th of 2015. And there were some paternity issues going on with the case. And through a DCS case in Blackford County, which is originally where Hayden's father lived, who Hayden's father is Dustin Manis. And Dustin Manis ended up receiving custody. And at some point, Dustin and Hayden moved to Delaware County, to Muncie. And they moved there with the girlfriend of Dustin's, named Crystal Hall, and moved to her house where she lived with her family. So the very first time that law enforcement was even notified that there may be a problem was on September 5th of 2024. So I know that some stuff I'll end up repeating, but I definitely want to make sure that I don't miss anything by telling this to you. This just shows, I'm going to show some of the Facebook posts that talked about him that his family was sending out at the time. And this shows a family member reaching out, asking that if anybody had seen Hayden in Blackford County in Eaton, Indiana, where Dustin had lived, and talks about her relationship and stuff with that. This stuff is so heartbreaking. I wanted to show you here the distance between Eaton, Indiana, which is up on the up north part of the map I'm showing you, and then Muncie, Indiana in the south. So you're talking not that far away. So a family member had called the police eventually to get a welfare check on Hayden because they hadn't physically seen him in 4 years. And they, because of the drug issues that Hayden's mother and father had, they had lost custody of Hayden. And the grandfather had custody of Hayden for a while. And was due to the fact that his father got busted and found him in a hotel room with drugs, with Hayden there. So the grandfather was able to have custody of him. And then DCS thought it was a great idea that after Dustin served his time and completed a program, they decided to take Hayden away from the grandfather and give the custody back to Dustin, which the family was against and stuff at the time. But for a little bit in 2019 and stuff, they were still seeing each other. He was still taking them for holidays and seeing them. And then it got less and less and less up until the Christmas of 2019. And then he was basically avoiding them. And the family thought at the time that he was mad because they didn't want him to get custody back. And that's why he was avoiding them. So anyway, so after the family had called to see what was going on, they contacted the sheriff's department, and they began an investigation. And in this investigation, they ended up finding out that they can find Dustin, but they can't find Hayden. So again, as I'm just sharing, these to show you the police, or I'm sorry, showing you the reach out from the family and stuff at the time. And so this is Dustin Manis. Now, this is Terry Williams. She's the mother. And this was her asking for help to find Hayden Manis. And these photos just break your heart. There was a group that was set up for a while, basically in September. And they had photos of the last time they saw him. Now, when I shared the information, I don't know that I like how they do this, but when I share the information of missing, they always put the age at the time that the child would be missing. Now, I do understand why they do that, especially if it's a kidnapping and the case may have that somebody still has the child. They were releasing the information that he would be 9 years old. Well, that would not be his age the last time he was seen. So here's just some samples of text that family members had sent to them, to Dustin, saying how that they're worried. And then this is Dustin replying. And then he's, finally telling them that he moved out of town in 2021. And like I said, he sat there and he moved in with a girlfriend and her family. And this was that they didn't show up for this particular Christmas at all. So the police go out, they can't find him. And not until this year, just a few weeks ago, did the police finally say anything directly to give any notice out to the general public. So this was their statement. On or about September 5th of 2024, Delaware County Sheriff's Office was made aware of a missing juvenile case. Since that time, we have worked diligently to investigate all leads, execute multiple search warrants, and conduct numerous interviews. We're working closely with the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office and remain committed to pursuing every avenue of investigation. Our goal is to bring resolution to this case. We appreciate the continued support from the community and encourage anyone with information to come forward. If you have any information about the case, they'd like you to contact the Delaware County Sheriff's Investigations Division at 765-747-7881. Now, if you thought anything about the way they released that, I just let you know they don't believe he's still alive. The family members even don't believe that he's still alive. They've been interviewed on the news. But I wanted to show you this photo, which was, again, a home in Muncie. This is where Hayden was living with his father, Dustin, and his father's girlfriend, Crystal Hall. So this was in Muncie in Delaware County. Now, I want to show you this clip of what was going on with the girlfriend. And hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Just want to make sure this is set up. So one of the most horrific things about this case is also that when the police went out and went to question Dustin, the father, at the end of 2024, he sat there and he was, arrested for drugs and stuff like that. Anyway, 4 days afterwards, his father dies of an overdose, which is the drug problems that they had with cocaine and heroin. So here they're questioning him. They're trying to figure out where Hayden is. He's lied a bunch of times. He said that first he was like, Hayden was taken by child services, which they can find out that's a lie, and they did. Then he said, Hayden's with his mother. And they figured out pretty quickly that that was not true. So then they have 4 days later that he is now dead. But I want to show you this clip real quick that the news showed about what happened when they went to the house where they were living with Hayden to talk to his girlfriend and what they did. So let me start this.
Teen Investigates has learned detectives have searched this Muncie house and removed potential evidence from inside. It's the last place Hayden was known to be living with his father and his dad's former girlfriend. Detectives interviewed that former girlfriend and some of her family members before they moved out of state a few weeks ago. No one has been able to lead police to Hayden, and no one has been charged in his disappearance.
So, yeah. Crazy. So they talk to them and they leave the state. She leaves the state. It's just totally unbelievable. So basically, the police at that time shared that, so December 15th of 2024, their primary person of interest, which is Dustin Manus, died, of the drug overdose. So, they've been trying to work that case, since September 5th of trying to find out what's happened. Where is this little boy? And so, they're talking about, to this day, we have yet to find Hayden alive, and nor have we found his body. And that, here you also have the fact that his own father isn't reporting him missing, right? His girlfriend isn't reporting him missing, and you're talking for years. And you got to think of the timeline. So you got to think that, also COVID and stuff was going on in 2020. So, they're, just having more trouble to get the truth. But they're still trying to find what happened. They are not indicating that they believe Hayden is alive. And it breaks my heart to even say that. But they really don't believe he's alive from information that they've received. And there has been some information that was shared by the family, which I will share with you. But I don't know the specifics if it's correct, but I'll share what the rumor is, obviously. But there is, of child abuse and neglect. I'm sure you probably guessed that, which is horrific. I mean, it's hard to even think about. But when you look at this poor little boy, it just breaks your heart. So I'll try to share, I guess, some of the details here. So from a family source that they talked about, that they believe Hayden is dead, and that allegedly Dustin Manus and possibly his girlfriend, Crystal Hall, had neglected and, in their words, tortured and murdered him. That he was put in hot baths, that he was hit, that he was starved, that he was put in a dog cage. And then basically talking about that he lost bodily function, and at that point then he was murdered. And right now, all of the family cannot put it to rest until they know where he is. Where is his body? And what happened to this little boy? So we know that they lived in Eaton, Indiana. He moved to Muncie, Indiana. He lived on that property with his girlfriend and that, again, who moved out of state. So I wanted to show just some information and stuff that I found in the courts. This is just showing back in 2018. They had to show proof of paternity stuff before this all happened. This is Delaware County and charges and stuff on Dustin Maness and probable cause that they went looking. And this was the narcotic charges and stuff that he got arrested on, that Dustin got arrested on in December 4th of 2024. And then here's the obituary for Dustin Maness. He was 33 years old. And yeah, that's basically it. That was on it, period. This talks about the interview and stuff that they did when they last saw that they feared he may have been killed by his dad. And this is before information came out. So again, the reason I wanted to share this and do this, I know a lot of you saw me posting it multiple times in the community post since September without really having a lot of detail of what was going on because it didn't make sense. And then finally it did. And then suddenly, the news picked it up and then a bunch of people started picking it up in the news, which is good. But we have the father who is the suspect here, the person of interest, who is gone. So we don't have him to say what he did, what happened, or whatever. Now, we don't know what Crystal Hall, his girlfriend, may know. I would assume living in that house, she would at least maybe witness abuse that was taking place and neglect that was taking place of Hayden. And I hope that she comes forward and speaks. But we want to share that if anybody has any information about the case, to please contact the Delaware County Sheriff's Investigation Division at 765-747-7881. This little boy has been gone for 5 years. And they need to bring his body home. And they need help. And we have no idea where he could have been taken. The family, there is some information, but I don't know that it's true. So I don't want to put something out there about something that I don't want to mislead of anything that could be incorrect. So, but they do believe that he passed away. They do believe that his body was taken somewhere. So, if you know anything whatsoever, please give them a call. Please help bring closure for these grandparents on both sides of the family who have suffered so much. And if you saw the interviews with the aunts and the grandfather and the grandmother, it just breaks your heart. You can't watch it and not cry. So let's find justice for Hayden, I'm sorry. Let's fight justice for Hayden Manis. Let's bring him home to his family for they can put him at rest. And thank you guys for tuning in. We have a lot of stuff working on. And I appreciate you guys being here as always. Please make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm not a monetized channel. I do this just to help families, the missing, protect our kids, unsolved cases, cold cases here in Indiana and some abroad. So thank you again.